Bedtime with Gitte.
A Child's Journey Through Poetry, Volume 2, by Sabina Adewole. Hobbies, Skills and Talents. Skateboards on the wall. Skateboarder. Be brave, be strong and have fun. These are the words of Sky Brown, the youngest skateboarder, originally from Japan. The youngest to participate in the Summer Olympics, Japan 2020. Really pleased to see she's competing for Britain. She has a Japanese mother, Mieko, and British father, Stu. I first saw Sky on television, and she inspired me. She is such an inspiration to anyone to find what makes them happy and do it. She's the world's youngest professional skateboarder and will be 12 years and 15 days old. Skateboarding has never been in the Olympics and will be the first in Tokyo 2020. I was inspired to write this poem as I saw the skateboards on the wall. I hope I have inspired someone just as Sky has inspired me. Digging in the ground and archaeology. This was at Nando's. I saw the painting on the wall of the children having fun. I thought I could write about this. Reminded me of an archaeologist. The different treasures you come across, the different items of value. A man found an item of gold worth £20,000. What is archaeology? The study of human activity through the recovery of analysis of material culture. You could be an archaeologist. Studies have recorded different human remains and coins. There are so many things that end up on the ground, and some hid items of value. Some have recovered items that have ended up in museums. Dogs have been known to have a nose for sniffing out tombs. What is your most important item of value? What item of value have you recovered? I was inspired to write this poem as I saw the picture on the wall composed at home, 2nd of 11th, 2019. My local fire station and firefighter. I looked up firewoman. She was a woman with rare beauty and spirit, a woman with remarkable qualities. Often wondered if there were fire women. Shot a video here for one of my YouTube videos. I heard of firemen all the time, but not fire women. Yet the London Fire Service is led by a woman. The Grenfell fire struck a chord in me. I went to visit the block. As so many lives were lost in this tragic incident, I thought, what could I do to make a difference? Years later, I thought I could write a poem to encourage anyone you might want to train to be a firefighter to save lives. Firewoman is a female firefighter. California comes to mind. What can they do to stop this fire affecting our communities? Firefighter, firewoman. Inspired to write a poem about the fire situation affecting communities, composed at home, 2nd of 11th, 2019. Bake-Off event and cake designer. It was the Halloween competition at work. We were joining the cupcake sale. We baked some cupcakes with our seniors. They joined in the decoration. The cakes became colourful. The cakes represented different flags. We were raising money for crisis. This was a homeless charity, a charity I am very passionate about. At first, they were just plain cupcakes, but made such a huge difference with the different designs. Cake designer. Would you like to learn how to decorate your own cupcakes? You could join a local group or arts and crafts classes. Composed on the train on the 5th of 11th, 2019. Inspired to write following our cupcake sale. Environment. There comes a time we finish our tin of biscuits, our bread wrappers, our yogurt containers, our old newspapers, our magazines, our rubbish, Basically, what do you do to recycle? What happens if the bin men go on strike? Where do you store your food waste? Where do you put your rubbish? Have you thought of other ways of reusing items for arts and crafts? Have you thought of sorting your rubbish? Do you know how much waste is dumped in the environment? Do you know how much waste other communities have had to live with? The bin men are helping the environment. The bin men play a key role in keeping our communities clean to avoid pets like rats and mice in our homes. The bin men. Composed on the train on the 8th of 11th, 2018. Inspired to write about the bin men. Bus driver. I went on the bus. I went to London on a bus tour. I went to New York. I went on the open tour bus. I went to Florida. I went in the bus on International Drive. I could sit and see the attractions: London Bridge, Madame Tussauds, Buckingham Palace, Trump Tower, Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty, Twin Towers. I could visit busy places like Oxford Street and Times Square. It was time to have fun on a bus. I recited some poetry. I took some photos. My photos were bumped. You could stop and hop back on the bus. On the lower deck, you could use your headphones. It was a nice atmosphere on the tour bus, mostly with tourists from different countries. Have you been on a tour bus? It's the best way to look around any new city. Places of interest. Composed at home on the 9th of 11th, 2019. Inspired to write about the tour bus. Jockey and Olympics and polo. Have you ridden a hired horse before? Have you seen the polo players? Prince William and Prince Harry have seen royal men and women competing in the Olympics. Have you been to the races in Romford? There is so much fun in horse riding and competing. Do you know millions of people attend the races every year? There are punters who bet on horse races. Do you know that each horse has a name? If you have a passion for riding or have a passion for owning a horse, you might have a passion for keeping a stable. Horses are nice as pets. Horse riders also compete in equestrian competitions. Would you like to be a jockey? Do you know of any famous jockeys? Composed on a train on the 12th of 11th, 2019. Inspired to write about a jockey. Station assistant and on my travels. Have you once found yourself waiting on a platform with a lot of passengers waiting to board with train delays? And then you suddenly hear a calm, reassuring voice of someone giving directions to passengers, informing them of alternative routes. It is relaxing for everyone as you feel assured that you can continue your journey. This is the role of station assistants on our platforms in our very busy stations like London Bridge, which can take you in all directions. I once had a family friend who worked as a station assistant. She enjoyed her job and spoke highly of her role. She went on to become a regional station manager. So, there is scope on this journey. I said thank you to the guy on Leytonstone platform as I carried on my journey. Station assistant. Composed on the train on the 14th of 11th, 2019. Inspired to write about the station assistant. Uber Eats at your door. You see motorbikes everywhere. They take up all the parking bays. All the food businesses are buzzing with trade. All the cafeterias have long queues. All the customers are held up by bikers in the queues. Uber Eats save you time and money. You get food delivered in the convenience of your home. It costs more to order your food through Uber. But still, this is a good concept as it creates job opportunities for some. Cycling makes you fitter. But would I use Uber? not sure I would, as Uber is not for everyone. Uber Eats is not for everyone. Uber Eats at your door. Composed at home, inspired to write about Uber Eats on the 18th of 11th, 2019. Teacher. I was walking to work and found inspiration from the same location where I composed Back to School. The Girls' Academy. A group of children with their teacher was crossing at the lights on a school trip. Pay attention to what the teacher says. Make sure to stay with the group. Do not wander off. Make sure you have your bottle of water. Make sure you have a hat or wrap warm for the weather. These are all familiar phrases we hear all the time, but still, sometimes as a child we forget ourselves in the midst of other children. I would encourage you to listen. Focus on what your teacher says all the time, in class or on a road trip. My memory is of my math teacher in secondary school. I remember she was firm, strict, and that has stuck with me. What's your memory of your teacher? Why do you still remember him or her? Composed in the car on the 25th of 11th, 2019. Inspired to write about the teacher. Personal trainer, and health is wealth. I went to the gym, punched my car registration into the machine, was about to leave for the changing area. My attention was caught by what I saw. A lady doing an exercise routine on a mat. Her personal trainer wore a red t-shirt. He stooped over, trying to correct her position. A lot of hard work, I thought. I wanted to join a group some time ago. The personal trainer contacted me, but I have not made up my mind if it is the right thing for me. I have not used one before, but I have seen them helping others. Motivating, inspiring, showing determination with their fitness levels, with their power, with their agility, with their mindsets. Everything goes hand in hand. You have to be determined to want to lose weight or build muscles, maintain fitness. The personal trainer shows dedication and determination. Most of all, focus. Composed at home on the 24th of 11th, 2019, inspired to write about the personal trainer. Musician. Music is the heart of the soul. I was walking past when my eyes saw the busker with his guitar, a peaked cap, a smile on his face, strumming away as we walked past. There used to be another one in Stratford. Any time I walked past, he would put smiles on people's faces. He had a harmonica too. It's nice to see these people playing in shopping malls, putting smiles on our faces. With what would seem a challenging world, we all can take one day at a time. Smile along to the music, or listen to the lyrics. Let your heart beat, and let it move your soul. Music is the heart of the soul. Composed in the train on the 26th of the 11th, 2019. Inspired to write having seen the musician. Door bouncer and protecting our children. Have you been to a nightclub, a concert, a party, a pub, and you are met at the door by a 6-foot broad-chested man or woman guarding the dance floor from gate crashers or underage youngsters or uninvited guests that cause overcrowding that could lead to a stampede and has led to injuries at parties and concerts? Alcohol could be partly responsible. This is why it's important to have bouncers guarding our bars and pubs. They help to keep unwanted guests out or underage drinkers, as this could have an impact on their brains and could affect their learning at college. So, I would support door bouncers protecting our children from alcohol consumption in bars, pubs, or from harm in concerts like Manchester Arena. Door bouncers. Composed at home on the 27th of 11th, 2019, inspired to write about the benefits of door bouncing. Police officer and safety in our communities. I was attending the work forum, missed my stop, had to walk 5 minutes back when I noticed the police vehicle with its lights flashing in front of a block of flats. The car was empty. My first thought was someone was in trouble, but there were no arrests. No one was in sight except the car with lights flashing. Then it occurred to me, someone may need assistance with combating domestic violence, or someone reporting a crime, or an investigation. It could be anything. So, the police are there to protect us and also to protect our communities. The mere fact made me feel protected. The police in our communities. Composed at home on the 29th of 11th, 2019. Inspired to write about the police. Model. And beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Who is a role model? My role model is Oprah Winfrey. She inspires me and has inspired a lot of women. From a humble background, she is one of the richest women in history. What are the characteristics of a model? Kindness, creativity, and playfulness. Inspirational, happy, and compassionate. Be silly, be a hero, and be humane. Be generous, weird, and sincere. I like all the characteristics of a role model. I was walking and saw the poster. There were 3 models, and they were able to identify different roles, models for our future generations. Composed in my room on the 1st of the 12th, 2019, inspired to rise seeing the models poster. Chef and food for thought. Who is your favourite chef? What sort of restaurant do you like best? Why do you prefer that plate to the other one? Are you adventurous with your food? Do you try new dishes when you travel or when you visit a restaurant? Do you like any particular dish? Are you a vegetarian? Are you vegan? Are you allergic to any kind of food? What do you prefer? Fish or chicken or meat with your dish? What's the quickest meal you can prepare? Mine is egg on toast. It's so easy to make. I sometimes visit my local cafe and order that. I always think people spend a lot of money on food. Food for thought. What's your favourite dish? My favourite chef is Jamie Oliver. He has done so much for the food industry. He published a vegan book recently. He has his chain of restaurants. He has a school where he trains young chefs. There is so much you can do as a young chef. Inspired to write about food on my visit to Canterbury, composed in Barking Library at the December Poetry Showcase. The funeral director. This was a time when the coronavirus broke out. There were several deaths in the world. Countries were on lockdown. Figures were rising daily. Nations were struggling in managing the impact. I went to Boots. I was asked if I was there for a prescription. I came out and on my way I saw the funeral director's vehicle. It reminded me of our current situation across the globe. I prayed for the family of the deceased, the COVID-19 victims. I thought this is the appropriate time to write this poem. I praised the nurses and doctors for their efforts at this time. Composed at home on 7th of the 4th, 2020. Inspired to write about the COVID-19. The train driver, carbon emissions and environment. It was on the Central Line, the yellow and red train on the track, the cover of my book. The tracks reflect a journey, the journey of a lifetime. Time waits for no one. One by one we board the train. Come rain or shine, shine your shoes and off you go. Going to work as a train driver can be fun. Fun to meet all the passengers. Passengers on their journeys. Journeys to work. Work to make a living. Living in London means using the train. Trains to commute means reducing carbon emissions. Carbon emissions will attract congestion charges. Charges can be costly. Costly to our health. Costly to saving lives on our roads. The driver on our trains have a huge role to play on our tracks. Challenge yourself to sit in the driver's seat one day. Composed at home, inspired to write about the train on the tracks on the 12th of the 12th, 2019. Dentist and smile and hygienist. Have you visited the dentist as a child? My children visited the dentist from a young age. We have an appointment every 6 months. We had a good relationship with our family dentist. My son had braces. I had holes due to eating sweets when I was young. My daughter has very nice dentition. My older son has a routine procedure when he was younger. I had to be with him in hospital. My younger son visited the orthodontist. So there are different departments in dentistry. It is important we take care of our teeth to avoid needing major dental work and gum disease amongst other problems. Dentistry is very expensive. You may have your teeth whitened or have implants if your teeth are damaged. Brushing your teeth twice a day and visiting your dentist 6 monthly. I would encourage you to brush your teeth twice a day before you go to bed and first thing in the morning. This would help you to maintain healthy oral hygiene. Inspired to write Seeing the Smiles on the Station, composed at home on the 16th of 12th, 2019. The Butcher and Vegan and Allergies. The famous meat shop, well known in the community, shut down suddenly. It was such a pleasure to have the butchers in the mall. A few months down the line, the shop opened up. It had been modernized. I was walking and a thought occurred to me. A vegan would dislike walking past the butchers. There is pork, beef, chicken, sausages, bacon, and all sorts of meat. As a vegan, you do not eat animals. My son's girlfriend is a pescatarian. She is a vegan who eats fish. She enjoys fish, but no other meat. When you go to restaurants, you need to be mindful of allergies. They can be dangerous and can lead to death. So, as customers, we need to check our food labels at shops, at the restaurants, and at the butchers. Check for food we are allergic to and avoid reactions. Have you had a reaction to food before? What are you allergic to? Do you check your labels at the supermarkets? Do you ask what ingredients are in a restaurant's menu item? Do you know of halal meat? The butchers are back in Stratford Mall. I was inspired to write about allergies when I saw the butchers was back again, composed at home on the 16th of 12th, 2019. Paramedics on the bike and save lives. I was on Stratford Mall on my way to my head office when I noticed 2 bikes parked with a saddle on the back and the helmet in the front. I checked it out and observed it had paramedic written behind on the saddle. I thought this was a good idea to offer first aid on site before an ambulance arrives, or generally offering assistance to anyone who might need it. The paramedics were not in sight on this day, but they left their bikes for all to see. I carried on my journey and thought they were there to save someone's life. What a thought for the day, I thought, as that could be anyone in need of assistance. It makes sense to have first aid skills. The paramedics sun the bikes. Have you helped to save life before? How did that make you feel? Composed on Etihad Airline on the 20th of the 12th, 2019. Inspired to write Seeing a Paramedic Bike. The Astronauts in Space and Feisty. I was on board an Airbus to Abu Dhabi. I looked over at the TV monitor across from me. I captured the airspace station on the screen. I captured the famous actor. He's an astronaut in this movie. He was inspiring to me, as I knew him first as an actor on our screens. He was now an astronaut in space. I noticed he had lost so much weight in the film. It then occurred to me, you have to be a certain weight when going into space. Your diet changes and everything must be certain dimension. Nothing in the life of an astronaut is easy. You have to strive to become what you want in life. There was a scene of a bear attacking them in space, but he overcame. There was a scene of falling down from the space center, but then again, he overcome this by using his parachute. So God is saying, if you fall, I am there with you. If you ride, I am there with you. He will never leave us alone. We just have to take that first step. The astronauts in space opened my eyes on my journey to the different storms in life we encounter on our journey. Inspired to write this poem having watched the film On the Flight Etihad, composed on the plane to Abu Dhabi on the 20th of 12th, 2019. Airport official. It was a nice day in Nigeria, our last day of what had been an eventful vacation. We arrived on time, checked in our bags. Everything seemed okay until we arrived at the immigration and they scanned our bags. They asked us to remove our shoes. They asked us to remove our belts and laptops, etc. They asked us to remove all water bottles. We had bought some semolina. They said semolina should not be in our hand luggage. They said, therefore, we could not check in our hand luggage. They had not informed us beforehand about this. Otherwise, we would have removed it from our hand luggage. It was such a shame to lose our semolina under such circumstance. We went out of our way to buy this on our journey. Next time, we now know we must put our semolina into our suitcase. We continued on our journey. As it was now time to board our flight to Abu Dhabi, we were now looking forward to our break in Abu Dhabi. I was inspired to write about my experience in the Nigeria airport, composed on the flight to Abu Dhabi on the 28th of 12th, 2019. The Pianist in the Mall and Red Piano. It was our first night in Abu Dhabi. We took our usual walk. It was the World Trade Center Mall, a familiar spot on our vacation. We saw a red piano first, surrounded and draped and cordoned off. It was beautiful and transparent. You could see all of the strings. I had never seen a red piano. It caught everyone's attention, as it was in a mall. The pianist was playing a tune to the audience. We stopped and listened to the tune. Others stopped for photos. We decided to take a photo. The next day, the piano was there in the mall. The pianist was playing another tune. I chose to write a poem about the red piano. I carried on with my journey, inspired to write about the red piano, composed in my living room on the 6th of 1st, 2020. Zookeeper and Animal Lovers and Haiku. Was visiting family in Kent. Saw this picture on the living room wall. Mum of 3 mixed-race girls, was a painter and homemaker. Had 3 of her paintings in the living area. From Hungary, married to a Nigerian. I saw the giraffes, then the birds singing in the picture. By the way, of their positions, birds singing in the air. She told me the story about the painting, but now I regret not listening. As I was not thinking I was going to be writing a poem about the picture. But this is my version of the painting. Reminds me of my visit to London Zoo, when my boys were aged 3 and 5. We saw 2 giraffes and the zookeeper having fun. Then it reminds me of the zookeeper that got killed by the lion she knew very well. The zookeepers have a great job, but must not turn their backs on any animal, as you just don't know what to expect from the animals. I looked at the paintings and let my thoughts wander, took a photo, then continued on my journey. Composed at home in my room on the 7th of 1st, 2020, inspired to write about the giraffes in the picture. The volunteer and give your time. My best experience of volunteering was for the London Marathon on Tower Bridge in London. That was an epic moment for me. We had volunteered for Mencap during their ball game event, which again was an epic event where you get to meet people with similar interests and mindsets. I recently volunteered for Homeless Trust in London Bridge. We raised money for the charity and it was an amazing opportunity for me to do my first bucket fundraising event. The benefits of volunteering are great as you get to give back. I find it rewarding as I feel I am doing something I love. I was walking past the cancer charity shop in Romford. We also volunteered during the Night Shine Walk for Cancer Research. We gave out the light bars and water to the walkers all night. In the morning, we helped to pack up the pop-up stands. It was fun, engaging and interactive. When I saw the picture, it was colourful and drew my attention. As I moved closer, I noticed the word volunteer. So I thought I could write a poem about my experience of volunteering and see if I could encourage anyone on their journey too. The volunteer, composed at home in my bedroom, inspired to write about the monster picture on the 10th of 1st, 2020. Driving instructor and learner. I was in the Barkingside Library. Just started writing my personal book. As I arrived at the roundabout, I saw a BSM vehicle which reminded me of my driving school days. I had lessons with AA, BSM and Alan. I finally passed my test with Alan. I was so pleased at the time. My daughter has just started driving lessons. My two sons had their lessons with our neighbour who is also an instructor. She taught them and they both passed at their first attempt. The BSM vehicle triggered memories of my driving lessons. I was surprised as I had not seen one of them in a long time. It was nice to see the youngster behind the wheel. There are different levels, and you can teach the children from a very young age. The driving instructor and learner went round the roundabout, and I carried on my journey towards Fairlop. Composed at home in my living room, inspired to write about the BSM driving instructor. The mortgage advisor and property. I always pass on my way to work a high street with a difference: hairdresser, off-licence, cafe, pharmacy, church, supermarket, you name it. The estate agent always inspires me when I walk by, as it has recently been refurbished. The two shops have become one. The decor very simple, yet very elegant, with all the seats facing the high street. It is such a nice idea to have a mortgage company in the local area. This would encourage the first-time buyers to get on a ladder. The mortgage advisor. Have you visited one before? I have, with my son, when he wanted to buy a new house. They help you arrange a mortgage and find a buyer for your property. They can also help you manage your property. What else would you like to know? Why not pay a visit to your local mortgage company? Or I can invite you to this one right here. On your journey, a must visit. Inspired to write about the mortgage advisor, composed at home in my bedroom. The skier. I was on the train. So, this was when I thought I was facing writer's block. And then God gave me an insight. I looked up and then there were two ideas staring me in the face: the skier and the scuba diver. I was pleased with God. He will never leave you. He is always there when you need him. I was pleased as I could carry on my journey. As a skier, you need precision, as a wrong move can be fatal. You have to be competitive, as everyone wants to make a mark in their career. Speed is crucial, but we are all on different races. Run your own race. The Skier, composed at home on the 25th of 1st, 2020. Inspired to write about the skier. Scuba diver, and bravery, and talented. I once had a manager who said they went scuba diving. They had this on their display picture. I was so impressed by their interest. I never thought I could do this. However, on my journey on the train, the image rubbed on me and triggered a memory. I thought I would write a poem about this. Have you ever thought of trying something new? Have you admired anyone from a distance, due to a hobby or talent they had? Did you ask them any questions? Sometimes we can encourage each other, even if we aspire to be like them, as we all should be encouraged to pursue our own interests, and God will breathe on it. The scuba diver on his journey, composed on the train on the 27th of the 1st, 2020, inspired to write about the scuba diver. Basketballer and talents. It was a Sunday afternoon in January 2020. I had been to church. It was a normal evening. I started a church challenge in the morning. I went home to do my ironing. My son has always liked the Lakers. When I travelled, he would ask me for a basketball vest. My daughter was wearing her basketball jersey, the purple Lakers. Then we put on the TV. The breaking news highlighted that Kobe Bryant had died in a helicopter crash in California. He was a legend. 5-time NBA basketballer, 2-time Olympic champion, won an Oscar in 2018 for animated film. He wore number 8 and 24. Both numbers have been removed. He would be nominated for the Basketball Hall of Fame. He would be remembered for his inspiration to others, and how he fought hard to be the best basketballer for over 2 decades. I found out about Kobe a few years ago, when he retired from the sport in 2016. His legend in the sport of basketball will live on, and the lives he has inspired through the sport. Long live the Kobe's legend. Hope he has inspired many people. The basketballer. Inspired to write about Kobe Bryant, composed at home on the 27th of the 1st, 2020. Footballer and skills. I have not always loved football. My first game I watched was Liverpool. I remembered Robbie Fowler. My husband supports West Ham. My older son supports Chelsea. My younger son, Man United. My brother supports Man United. I have no team that I support, but watch it with them as a family. They are strikers, midfielders, and defenders. There are different roles in a team. We all have to work together to make the dream work. They all have to work together to achieve their goal. Footballers get paid big sums of money. I once visited Valencia Stadium. I also went to West Ham Football Stadium. It's been such an amazing experience. My favourite footballer is David Beckham, because of the way he scored one of the goals at UEFA, Beneath the Glamour of Football, The Footballer, composed at home on the 29th of the 1st, 2020, inspired to write about the footballer. Yoga teacher. The yoga scene has become very competitive, with pilates, Reiki, and all sorts of mediums. I enjoyed yoga when I was much younger. I enjoy pilates and found that more enjoyable. I went on to join Zumba classes. I did aerobics on water, aerobics on land. I also tried to learn how to swim one-on-one, but I could never swim. I guess I am adventurous and like trying new things. Yoga to me was quite challenging, as I could never get the poses. But recently, a colleague at work started a yoga class. I really enjoyed it, as she was gentle and took her time, and also introduced me to blocks for some difficult poses. She would also encourage you to do a less challenging pose, whereas the other classes would carry on without you. I found this yoga teacher very inspiring. She is a colleague and she was pregnant at the time. She has now had her baby, and we all formed a small group, and it brought the workforce closer together. We looked forward to yoga on a Monday evening. The yoga teacher, composed at home in my bedroom, inspired to write about a yoga teacher. The farmer. We were on vacation in Nigeria. We travelled 3 hours from Lagos. The farm was in Ondo town. We set out early in the morning. We arrived and saw the pawpaw tree, the well, the red peppers, the green plantains, still growing, the okra plant. We then saw the different breeds of pig. Some were very cute. Some had patterns on their skin. We were so glued to the piglets as they seemed so cute. The big pigs were enormous. Some were being fed and some pens were being cleaned. We walked past, arrived at the fish ponds. There were about 3 of them functioning. One of them was being refurbished. The farm needed a pump to pump the water. The farm was family-owned and was well looked after. We were impressed and excited to see the animals. We left as we had to carry on with our journey. The farm, composed at home on 2nd of the 2nd, 2020, inspired to write about the farm. The preacher and faith. I was on the train. I came across a man carrying a bag with a lot of information all about Bible verses, encouraging people to give their life to Christ. He was silent and not in your face, but had some tracts and was handing them out to passengers on the train. When I arrived at Mile End Station, the same man was standing there, facing passengers coming out of the station. This time around he was speaking. He was preaching the word. He had all the information hanging on him, encouraging you to accept Christ as your Saviour. He reminded me of church and how we are reminded to come out for an altar call if we want to give our life for Christ. I was encouraged to listen to what he had to say and then carried on with my journey. But he was on the high street. All the university students walked past him. All the workers walked past him. All the homeless walked past him. I am not sure if anyone was listening. The preacher, composed on the train on the 3rd of the 2nd, 2020, inspired to write about the preacher. The actor and comedian. I have often enjoyed watching Mr. Bean from when I was a child. I have a good sense of humour. I enjoy having a laugh. I liked his smile and not take life seriously. But again, it depends on who you are surrounded by, as sometimes toxic people can steal your joy without you realizing it. It is important to surround yourself with positive people, as they can help you on your journey. I often watch Michael McIntyre. And what is it they all have in common? They make us laugh with their material or content. People pay to be made happy. People generally want to be happy. They want to relax after a long week at work. Why do we pay so much for a sense of joy? Why can't we naturally be happy doing what we love and enjoy? There are comedy clubs everywhere. So I guess there is a lot of scope in the industry. He is a world-famous British actor with a net worth of $130 million. He rose to fame through the TV series, which later became a successful film through performing comedy roles. He is a lonely man, just living his self-centered portrait life. His daughter is called Lily and his son is Benjamin. My Bean has a partner, Louise Ford. He performs mute comedy. There were only 15 episodes of Mr. Bean. Have you watched any? Which one stuck with you and why? Would you like to be a comedian to make people laugh? Composed at home on the 5th of the 2nd, 2020. Inspired to write about comedy. The Pharmacist, and health is wealth. They are the medium between patient and doctor. They serve the community. They provide a valuable resource in a community. We approach them on minor issues. I was on my way to work when I popped into the chemist. I have always walked past. I bought some hand sanitizer. My residents use the chemist across the road, Mayor's Chemist. We receive our monthly cycle from Boots for our residents. They are very necessary in time of need. The pharmacists play a major role. I pop in and then I sometimes look things up online. I am my own chemist. He gave me my medication and I carried on my journey. The Pharmacist. Composed in A&E on the 7th of the 2nd, 2020. Inspired to write about the pharmacist. The Banker and Customer Service. Have you visited a bank before? Have you been to the bank and received excellent customer service? What do you do in a bank? You can pay your bills. You can make payment to someone in another country. You can cash your checks. You can transfer to other accounts. It's amazing what happens in a bank. Have you got a savings or current account? Have you got an ISA account? Have you seen a queue when you have gone to the bank? Have you been offered the choice to be given assistant on the queue? That is excellent customer service. That will reduce the queue. Who do you bank with? How many accounts do you have? I have a Santander account. I have an HSBC account. My first direct account is 24-hour telephone banking. I can call my bank anytime from anywhere in the world. That is what I call telephone banking. And there is always someone on the end of the phone. This is also known as online banking, except you do it yourself. What's your experience been like? Once I am happy, I carry on with my journey. Composed at the party on the 8th of the 2nd, 2020. Inspired to write about the banker. The Florist and Flowers. I love flowers. My husband always gives me flowers on birthdays, anniversaries, or any time he deems fit. I always have them on my table as a centerpiece. I love roses. I saw the florist in Stratford on my way. I stopped and admired the flowers, the colours, the beauty. There were people buying flowers for families and friends. Who would you buy flowers for? Have you bought flowers for anyone? I once took my flowers to Marbella. Flowers remind us of Mother's Day, your girlfriend's birthday, a colleague at work, or anyone close to you. The florist is always there in Stratford. Their flowers are reasonably priced. They are affordable. Flowers can also be delivered to you anywhere in the world. The Florist. Composed at the party on the 8th of the 2nd, 2020. Inspired to write about the florist. The Jewelers. How many times have you been to the jeweller's to fix your jewellery, or to look at a pair of earrings or a bracelet, or to choose your wedding ring? Yet, each time I walk past a jewellery shop, they are very busy with customers. So imagine how many couples are planning their weddings, or how many people want a bracelet. They also sell watches and can fix your broken jewellery. I have used them on occasion to fix my jewellery. The one thing a jeweller is known for is their sale for gold, which can be quite expensive. So this may make them a target for robbers. So be careful when you visit before you continue on your journey. Composed on the train on the 12th of the 2nd, 2020. Inspired to write about the jewelry shop. The receptionist and helpful. So this happened at the gym one morning. I parked my car there some days to catch the train to work. As I walked past, I saw the receptionist. The lady was helping someone at the desk. Another lady was walking ahead of me. The lady said, "Hello, can I help anyone?" Isn't that nice that as you walk in, someone asks if you want some help? I have received a lot of help at hotel receptions when I am on vacation. Can you remember a time you were helped by anyone to achieve something great in your lifetime? I have. The Receptionist. Composed at home on the 13th of the 2nd, 2020. Inspired to write about the receptionist. Neighborhood police and safety. They are visible in our communities. They denote safety. As I walk to the station, I bump into 3 community support officers. They have been a support in my local community. They have provided input for my team when required. They have provided a safety net in our communities. We do not want to waste police time, so we bounce off them as a medium. They have attended our residence meetings. They have always been available when I have called upon them. Have you had any opportunity to call upon your safer neighborhood team? Do you know their role in our communities? Composed at the wedding on 15th of the 2nd, 2020. Inspired to write about the safer neighborhood team. Weather presenter and climate change. Storm Kira, weather at its worst, flooding at its worst, river at its worst, severe flood warnings, floods in Hereford, people swimming, people sailing, people holding, horses swimming, dogs sailing, babies on dinghies, Storm Dennis, still not prepared, highest levels in 20 years, flood defences, wetter weather coming in, heavy bouts of rain, climates changing, misery and chaos everywhere, insurances pick up the pieces, homes affected, lives at risk. Climate changes affecting lives. Composed at home on the 17th of the 2nd, 2020. Inspired to write about weather extremes. Black cab taxi driver, and anywhere and everywhere. I arrived at Barking Station. Black taxis everywhere. I arrive at Oxford Circus. Black taxis anywhere. I arrive at Liverpool Street. Black taxis everywhere. I arrive at London Bridge. Black taxis on the bridge. I arrive on Tower Bridge. Not many black taxis here. I arrive at London anywhere. Black taxis everywhere. Black taxis are one of the landmarks. To be a black taxi driver anywhere, you need to learn the roads in London by heart. You drive anywhere. Black taxis everywhere. Have you been in one on anywhere? Black taxis take you everywhere. Black taxis. Composed at home in my room on the 22nd of the 3rd, 2020. Inspired to write about black taxis. Tree surgeon. The trees as tall, the trees as wide, the trees of beauty. Green for our environment, shades us from the sun, used for fire and warmth. Trees can tell a story. Trees remind us of roaring. Trees' images can be scary. Trees' growth, trees' feast, trees' strict. Furniture at its best. Herbs when you are weak. Chewing sticks for brush. The tree surgeon, at his best, would trim back trees for rest. The trees trimmed at his rest. The tree surgeon, composed on the train, inspired to write about the surgeon on the 27th of the 2nd, 2020. Medical doctor and save lives. Who is a doctor? Someone who has studied at university and gained a degree at doctorate level. A pathologist must have a doctorate, also a pharmacist. So, there are different types of doctors. There are doctors of theology in the church. A medical doctor can be a GP. Their role is to prevent and diagnose illness, care for and treat patients in their surgery and in hospital, and maintain physical health. A psychiatrist takes care of our mental health. A lot of young people struggle with their mental health. A good doctor is humble, willing to listen to their patient, and gather together the full array of resources, medical, human, social, and spiritual, that will contribute to their patient's well-being. My memory of my best doctor was my GP, Dr. Calcutt, and my gynecologist, Dr. Coker. These two men have helped to save my life and maintain physical health. Inspired to write about a doctor following my visit to Mile End Hospital, composed at home on the 1st of the 3rd, 2020. Sandwich artist and healthy options. Who is a sandwich artist? Sandwich artist is someone who designs your sandwich. They can create a sandwich from start to finish. Place your order. Choose your bread from Italian, hearty Italian, multi-seeded bread, Italian herbs and cheese, brown bread, gluten-free amongst others. You can have it with cheese or not. You can have it toasted with or without cheese. You can choose from a series of meats: chicken, teriyaki, plain chicken, beef, tuna, bacon, ham, turkey, vegetarian. You can choose from different veggies: carrots, cucumber, peppers, onion, sweet corn, olives, jalapenos, spinach, lettuce. You can choose from different sauces, from vegan, oily, barbecue, garlic, sweet onion, HP sauce, tomato, mayonnaise, honey mustard. All these different options are the creativity of the sandwich artist. You have to wrap this in paper. You slice your bread in half. Create your personalized sandwich by an artist. Enjoy. What's your favorite sandwich and why is it? Sandwich artist. Composed at home in my bedroom, inspired to write about the sandwich artist. Postman and worldwide. The postman. You look out for him all the time. An important letter on your drive, an important message on your drive, an important parcel on your drive. The postman, in the red top, in the red pack. Some use cars, some use bikes. The postman can be a parcel man. They deliver parcels. They deliver recorded mail. The mail could be from anywhere. The parcel could be from anywhere. The parcels could be from across the globe. The postman helps to sort the post. They ensure your post arrives on time. The postman. Some are friendly and make a difference. Do you know your postman? Who is the most famous postman? Composed on the train on the 4th of the 3rd, 2020. Inspired to write about the postman. Photographer. Red carpet. #paparazzi. The photographer at the wedding. The photographer at the funeral. The photographer at the baptism. The photographer at the baby shower. The photographer at the graduation ceremony. The photographer at the birthday party. The photographers at the football events. The photographers on the red carpet. What is the difference between the photographers? Some can't take photos unannounced. Some want you to be ready for the photos. but the best photos of me are when I am not ready. Some prefer to pose for the cameras, but sometimes too many photos can be damaging. The flashes are all over you. You do not know where your photos may end up. Some photographers charge so much for their photos. Some have been known to follow celebrities. Some have their personal photographers. I guess photography is also a great hobby. However, photographers can be damaging. If they follow you everywhere, you no longer own your privacy. On the beach, on vacation, on the yacht, at home, on your balcony, as you walk the dog in the park, when you are out on a date, in a restaurant having a drink. How would you feel if that was you? No one's most famous picture in history is the Terror of the War, Nick, 1972, one of the most famous photographers in the world. Famine in Somalia, 1992, by James Nahway. What is your famous photograph? Mine has to be the one on the beach in Tenerife when I had my back turned to the camera. I was wearing a sun hat and my hand was clasping my hat. The photographer. Composed at home on the 5th of the 3rd, 2020. Inspired to write about the photographer. The waitress and patience. Those who wait upon the Lord, he shall renew their strength. This was at Bow Road Station one morning, the last poem from my children's series too. I had taken my time. I was not in a hurry to complete the series. I believed the right time would come. I always had faith and trusted in my God to guide my ways and direct my path. So when the time was right, I would know. So when I saw the flyer as I went up the stairs, the waitress, it seemed right to complete this series on that note. It was an award winner in the category. Who would not want to be a part of that? It felt right to end on that note and book a ticket to see the show, The Waitress. God teaches us to be patient. The best is yet to come. Composed at home on the 6th of the 4th, 2020. Inspired to write about the waitress. A note from me to you. Dear reader, I want to thank you for taking the time to read my book, A Child's Journey Through Poetry, Volume 2, Hobbies, Skills and Talents. I was once a child like you and hope you have found inspiration from reading and journeying with me. I hope you also have a favourite poem you may want to share some feedback on my Amazon or Goodreads page. My favourite poem is Skateboarder. What's your favourite poem in this series? Alternatively, you could drop me a line at sabina1701@gmail.com. I look forward to seeing you on the next chapter in my next book, A Child's Faith Journey, my first faith series for children, a collection of 50 Bible stories with a moral lesson for anyone. I enjoy writing poetry and hope I can continue to inspire you on your journey. Thank you so much, Sabina. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed this book. Be good for your parents and don't forget to subscribe.
Thank you for watching and listening. You've been so good. And don't forget to follow me on social media. Subscribe and be good for your mommy and daddy. Bye-bye. This was story time with Gitte. Bye.